Hello and good morning everyone. Thank you for joining Jade Global today for the webinar on improved customer service and inventory rotation using Oracle WMS Smart Picking. My name is Sangeeta Jash and I'm the Assistant Manager Marketing Communications at Jade Global and also your moderator today for this webinar. We have Manoj Rathi here with us to discuss this topic in more detail. But before I fully introduce Manoj, I would like to tell you a little bit about our company. Jade Global is an Oracle Platinum partner and is a leading information technology services and solutions provider. We deliver the right combination of business knowledge, product and technical expertise, project management, and flexible delivery models to every engagement to ensure every client's long-term growth and success in business. For more information, please visit www.jadeglobal.com. Now I would like to introduce Manoj Rathi. Manoj is the Consulting Director at Jade Global. He is a supply chain SME and has designed and implemented a number of supply chain planning and execution solutions for the high-tech, discrete and green energy industries, including multiple warehouse management engagements. I will hand it over to Manoj now, who will review the agenda and continue with the presentation. Over to you, Manoj.
Hey, thanks, Sangeeta. Thanks, everyone. Welcome. Good morning to folks in West Coast and good afternoon to people in the East Coast or Midwest. Yeah, I'm Manoj Rathi from Jade Global. So today what we will see is we will see how your customer requirements today are changing with the changes in the business environment and what qualifies as quality for the customer, in customer's perception in terms of both excuse me, in terms of both your products and your services. We will also see some of the goals and strategies typical of today's companies in the changing business environments. And also, finally, what we will see is how WMS Smart Picking helps companies to simultaneously meet or exceed their customer service and specific requirements for the products, as well as have their organization goals and strategies fulfill at the same time, like improving their profitability and performance. So we will start with going over some of the customer needs in today's environment. Before we go there, I would like to just present the classic relation of quality, service, and profits, which is still very relevant today, very valid today. The only changes we see is the norms or the bars for quality and service, they are going up and up as time changes. So you would see companies or your customers today are seeking product personalization. That has become the norm of quality today. In terms of service, they are seeking service personalization. That's the norm today. And the customer bar for quality and service moving up. So basically, if you have good quality and good service, the traditional relationship stands true. You will get a better price for your products. You will get higher volumes for your products. And obviously, you will get more profits. And before we go there, we will see what a traditional customer order entry and fulfillment process, just at a very high level, we will see how it is. So you would see that traditionally, traditionally companies have been selling their products using some kind of catalog. So they tell their customers, okay, these are what my products are. Tell me which one you would like to buy. So that is the traditional kind of buy and sell relationship. Also, in terms of, let's say, label printing or documentation, so you have some automation or some process set in your company, in your ERP environment, and you print same label for all your customers. Typically, they would take those labels, and when they receive the material in their warehouses, they would print stocking labels, or they would print their own documents that they need for their ERP system. So we would see, that because of these gaps, which in yesterday's environment, it were not those were not perceived as gaps, but today I would call them as gaps. So you would see there would be frequent rework and manual corrections required. The fulfillment times typically are longer And especially, I mean, if you see today's environment, it's more of a global environment where you have somebody sitting in, let's say, North America doing all the planning work, all the scheduling work, and then somebody in Asia maybe doing the pick, pack, and ship work. So there is a lot of communication gap and a lot of delays in communicating the picking process or material allocations or making the decisions. So that all leads to a longer fulfillment times. I have seen anywhere from at least 36 hours to maybe around 3 days as a very normal lead time for the traditional customer order fulfillment process. Higher return rate, so your RMA rate would be higher. Nowadays, I would say even 1 RMA per month or per million orders, I would classify that as not a good service. You still have potential to reduce because then if you put systemic controls, you can eliminate all your RMAs. Considering, I mean, RMAs are because of incorrect product shipments or some damaged products. So poor customer service is another outcome of the traditional process. Another outcome I have seen is, or another process attribute that I have seen is using some kind of simple first in, first out picking process, material allocation process. And this simple FIFO process is typically based on receipt time in your warehouse or in your sub-inventory. Sometimes, I mean, if a particular lot is taking a lot of time for manufacturing, or maybe it got hold for some time and got received late, that would be perceived as a last in. And although, I mean, you would like to ship that out first, but if you are using systemic picking rules, not the smart picking, but some kind of traditional picking rules, then it would push that lot out maybe a few months from now to ship out, and somebody will have to manually do the adjustment. So what I would see here is a lot of manual adjustments, a lot of manual decision making, and a lot of lead time. I mean, longer lead time in the overall fulfillment process. Obviously, leading to poor stock rotation, higher inventory value as well as carrying cost, and of course, I mean, higher potential for obsolescence of your inventory. Customer-specific manual variations in the fulfillment process, they are mostly, I mean, you would see any customer-specific requirements in the traditional fulfillment process are entered in your order notes, and somebody will have to read it on the pick slip and then make changes to their material allocation process. So I would call that as lack of process controls and standardization, because these notes could be, I mean, somebody may write it differently, somebody may perceive it differently, what's written out there. So there may be a lot of confusion out there in your like overall order to cash process. So what customers expect today? So let's see. I mean, typically what your customers would be saying. Some of the statements could be like, I need a solution for my specific problem and not a product from your catalog. So I don't want you to tell me that these are the things that you make and I have to pick whatever fits my specific requirement. Whereas what I need is a solution for my problem. So this is what I need. Do you have something that will fit my needs? Preferably 100%. Your product needs to help me differentiate my end product, because whatever boat you are in today, even your customers are in the same boat. I mean, even their customers are getting more demanding. They are seeking more like a higher customer service, higher levels of customer service. So your customers also need to ramp up and differentiate their end products to their customers. So they are seeking help from you as their suppliers. A lot of customer needs are basically nowadays stored in some attributes, your product attributes or lot attributes or serial attributes, and those are the things that they want to use in their fulfillment in their fulfillment process. Your customers are looking out to lower their spend to help improve their side of productivity and space utilization in their warehouse. So for example, they don't want you to ship 10 days in advance. They want you to ship only, let's say, 24 hours in advance from their consumption time. So people are getting highly just-in-time kind of environment, and I mean, fulfilling customer orders too much ahead of time is also not considered as a good customer service nowadays. So you have to basically manage just-in-time with your customers and make sure that there are no reworks, no returns. So there is a high level of confidence within your customer base regarding your products and shipments. So they can work with just-in-time and improve the overall supply chain efficiency, which will help everybody in the supply chain, all tiers in the supply chain. Another key point, statutory and compliance requirement for labeling as well as for products. So some of them are legally binding requirements, like if FDA needs FDA requirements, but a lot of voluntary requirements are also popping up nowadays. For example, organic, what they called eco packaging. So there are a lot of kinds of requirements that are coming up in the product design, product manufacturing, and also in packaging and shipments. So your customers are looking for that because their customers are looking for that, and of course documentation, labeling in their own format is what they are seeking nowadays. So they don't have to rework or create the documents and labels in their warehouse, so they can just reuse whatever you have done. So some examples, like what I have seen in the industry with both like my work in the industry as well as my consulting work in the industry, what I have seen is your customers, some customers may ask for different product shelf lives for your products. Like let's say if it's a tier 1 customer, like let's say Apple or Nokia's or Samsung's of the world, they might ask for product shelf life to be at least 2 years from now, whereas let's say some other customer out there, a small or mid-tier customer, may accept 1 year remaining product shelf life for your products. Customers are also asking you to buy material from a particular supplier of your own because of maybe their arrangement with the supplier, or because they have very strict quality control process on their side. So for example, a wafer supplier only has to be TSMC, something like that, or my chip manufacturer should be only Samsung. Things like that are popping up every day now. Like processor needs, temperature rating, even like if you are in solar industry, they might have, like if you're shipping the product to a very high temperature rating region, then they might need you to specify a particular rating on your solar panels. One more key requirement I have seen popping up with globalization of your supply chain is the country of origin or country of manufacture of your product. That has been a very key requirement from your customer side. Just an example, I mean, I know some customers in Israel, they don't take anything manufactured in, let's say, Malaysia, or vice versa. People in Malaysia, they don't take products from Israel. So these are the kind, or maybe Iran. So like if you are a US manufacturer, you probably won't accept anything that was originated in Iran. So those are the kind of country-specific constraints that your customers dictate, and you have to comply with them. And the cost of non-compliance for such kind of constraints is pretty high. Other examples, let's say if you are in some process manufacturing, your solution concentration might have some specific needs. Let's say if you are in furniture manufacturing, some of your customer may have some very specific needs around their furniture, let's say, dimensions. So it's not like you can just work with your catalog, product catalog nowadays. I mean, you have to go way beyond your product catalog, and you have to see what your customers, they need rather than what you manufacture. Same thing, I mean, around packaging and delivery. So a lot of customers, they have different needs for packaging and shipments. Like some customers may say, I want only a particular box size, or I want my products to be to be packaged on, let's say, tape and reel, because then I can use that in my assembly line. Again, I mean, biodegradable packaging material is coming up nowadays as a voluntary requirement. A lot of customers are seeking that. Barcode standards, different customers, they use different barcode standards, and you might want to comply with each one of them. All the compliant logos like RoHS and lead-free compliance. So those kind of compliance logos are, I mean, your customers may ask for them on the labeling. In terms of delivery timings, I mean, some customers, I definitely know that Cisco, they are pushing their suppliers to ship on particular dates so that they can optimize their warehouse processes, like receiving side in their warehouse. Some customers may have tie-ups with the carriers like FedEx or UPS, so they may want you to pick only one carrier over other. So those are some of the specific needs I have seen in the industry, which a lot of companies have to comply with nowadays. Some of the companies I have worked with, they are doing all this using some tribal knowledge or using some notes in the order management, some table somewhere. So now we would see, I mean, so in the start, I mean, we said that we will look at your customer requirements, and we will also look at your organizational strategies, and then find a way to basically work with both. So now we would see, I mean, what typically today's organizations they need from their warehouse operations, especially order fulfillment. So of course, I mean, the first and foremost organizational strategy that I have seen with all the organizations I have worked with is to improve their customer service and satisfaction levels. But you will also see that, I mean, most of the companies, they use balanced scorecard approach in which they look at their financials, they look at their customer service, they look at their organization side, organization growth, and also their employee, I mean, their processes and the organization, which includes employee. So improving customer service and satisfaction levels is top. Improving bottom line revenue and profitability is top. So the first one and second one, they are, I would say, the key. All others, they typically result into one of the two. So the first one is typically resulting into potential future revenue when you have good customer service and satisfaction levels. Whereas the second one is your current financial health of the company. So rotating inventory faster, that helps the second one, improving bottom line. Reducing obsolescence also does the same thing. Be a market leader, I would say, goes in the first one. Boost employee morale and build scalable processes for growth. So these are more of the other two halves or quadrants of your balanced scorecard. So we will look at some specifics of the organizational strategies around material selection for shipment. We will also look at the strategies for packaging and delivery side, the customer service side, after this slide. So the first and foremost, again, is satisfy all customer specific special needs. So these are what I would say more of a constraints in your organization. You want to make sure that you satisfy all the needs that are specified by the customer when they ordered. But on top of that, what you also need is you want to ship first expiring lots or earliest product revisions first, because those would result in potential obsolescence if you don't ship them out fast enough. Ship out the lowest grade acceptable by customers. So for example, you might have a process in which you have binning, let's say, and you get a varying degree of outcomes or co-products from your raw material or from your components based on the final results. So some customers may accept lower grade products. Some customers, they are ready to pay a higher price for a higher grade product. Just to give an example, let's say if you are in solar industry, then the solar panels that are manufactured may have different ratings. Sometimes they would be 200 kilowatt, 210 kilowatt, 220 kilowatts. So you might get a different price for each one of those grades. So whichever grade your customer has ordered, let's say they have ordered 200 kilowatt grade, you don't want to ship 220 kilowatt panel for your customer if they are accepting 200 kilowatt grade. Unless, I mean, you are short of 200 kilowatts and then you end up shipping 220. Avoid partial picking of order lines because that's resulting in, let's say, less than full truckload deliveries, and also would need like multiple times running the fulfillment process for that customer order line, unless you are getting delayed and you intentionally want to pick partial one of your order lines. Avoid repackaging, ship packed material first. So whatever. So one of the things I've seen is, I mean, if you are stocking labels and customer shipment labels, if they are same, then you can really avoid repackaging and relabeling of your product. So you can have like some standard packages and just pick them and ship them. Maybe just having an outer box where you put some label, but you can avoid a lot of rework here. Standardized process with systemic process controls. So instead of having all the special requirements or the tribal knowledge factor in your organization, what you could do is you can systematically store all these rules that your organization is looking out for and use them in your process controls or in your processing. Automate systemic material allocation based on business rules. So this is some of the, I mean, this is one of the requirements I have seen. So material allocation companies, they want to automate based on some rules which are, of course, configurable, scalable, and changeable over a period of time. So they don't want somebody out there in the warehouse to make the call which lot to select or which serial to select for shipment against a particular, let's say, customer order line. And of course, the last one, although I mean, I haven't seen a lot of companies mentioning that as a key requirement or key goal, but to me, it's an equally important thing. Communicate systematically between customer service, order scheduling, warehousing, and logistics department. So you want to have this communication systematic rather than through phone calls or through emails or through notes in one of the free form fields. What I mean by that is, let's say your customer orders, let's say grade 110. So if you store that grade in your customer order line itself and you make use of that grade in your, let's say, smart picking rules, and make sure that whatever product you are selecting has at least 110 rating on that grade label. So that becomes systematic communication. So nobody has to look at what is written in the, manually look at what is written in the pick slip, or manually go and check some cheat sheet created against each customer, like, okay, for Nokia's we have to do this, for Samsung's we have to do this, for Apple's we have to do this. Those kind of things they have to avoid, and companies, they try to avoid that because such kind of manual processes would lead to a lot of rework down the line. They are prone to manual errors. In terms of pick, pack, ship process, of course, I mean, the first requirement is to make sure that all customer specific needs are taken care of. On top of that, I mean, your organization strategies typically would be to run pick wave instead of picking individual order line. So instead of somebody picking one order line at a time, you want to run a pick wave for, let's say, today and tomorrow, or maybe today, tomorrow, and day after for 3 days, and just pick all the material based on that. Of course, I mean, you also want to prioritize material allocations, both based on customer class and earliest schedule date. So you don't want to pick a later schedule date material before or order before you before an earlier schedule date. So for example, if you have an order for today and order for day after tomorrow, you don't want to pick the day after tomorrow order before you pick the order for today. So you want to make sure that your pick wave takes care of that need of your organization. Control processes systematically with automations. So you want to have automated controls within your system rather than the tribal knowledge flowing in the warehouse. Because I've seen, I mean, warehouse users, they change very frequently. These are like low-end jobs, and you see a lot of turnover in that job category. So if you are working with tribal knowledge in your warehouses, then good luck with that. Secure mobile transaction processing right where it happens. So that's a requirement I've seen nowadays coming up. A lot of restaurant companies doing that. So you want to basically process your transactions right where it happens using a mobile device, rather than printing a piece of paper, somebody taking that paper, doing the transaction, then checking it off with a pen and coming back and giving it to a data entry person. You want to avoid all that. You want the warehouse user taking a mobile device and processing the transaction right there. Get guided pick routing for warehouse users. So you want to guide them how to pick the material or how to put away the material in your warehouse, rather than they picking the material and dropping it or based on their own tribal factor. Consolidate deliveries where possible. So you want to basically see if you can consolidate deliveries so you can reduce on your cost of freight costs. And enable intelligent barcode scanning with data field identifiers. So let me just explain it a little further. So you would see, like a lot of packages, you would see the labels with multiple barcodes on them, and sometimes it will be very difficult for your warehouse user to scan the barcode. So let's say if they are trying to scan items, they might by mistake scan, let's say, the lot number, or if they are trying to scan customer number, they might scan the manufacturer code, something like that, right? So you want to avoid all that. So Oracle WMS has got intelligent barcode scanning, where it will have data field identifier in the barcode itself. So if you are scanning, let's say, item number, even if your cursor in the mobile device or in the scanner, it's on, let's say, customer, it will not populate the customer field. It will instead populate the item number field. So that is what I call the intelligent barcode scanning. So although it seems like a small thing, but it can improve your warehouse productivity significantly. So these are some of the requirements or organizational strategies I have seen in terms of pick, pack, and ship process. All right. So what we will go with, the next, we will look at what would be the right solution, one of the right solutions for most of the companies. What you can do to basically achieve both, like achieve a higher level of customer service as well as achieve your organizational goals and strategies. So this goes with a full-fledged review of your order entry through customer order fulfillment process, like shipment process. So all the customer specific needs, I suggest, we have a solution that that is certified by Oracle. It's an accelerated WMS implementation, wherein we have pre-configured picking rules, label printing rules in the solution, and which we have implemented at multiple customers so far. So one of the things what we have seen is, if you have systemic ways of capturing your customer specific requirements, in our case we have used order lines as the placeholder where we capture all customer specific requirements, because that's truly where your customer order entry people or people working with customers they deal with. So in order management, like schedule dates, shipping priorities, ship sets, arrival sets, of course, some customer attribute, some order line attributes could be used to capture, let's say, requirements around restricted country of origin, and also, like, let's say, some specific supplier or some debarred supplier. So those kind of requirements could be captured at order line level. For material allocation process, the best practice would be to use WMS picking strategy and picking rules. What we have done is we have pre-configured picking rules for multiple industries, and we can just take those rules and implement it for your company. One of the, So what I have seen, first time when we did this picking rule implementation, it took us about 2.5 months to do that project. But the second time when we used the same picking rules for the same industry, we were able to configure and do the first round of testing in maybe less than 10 days. So that's the kind of benefit you get with pre-configured rules. And one of the other benefits that we were able to achieve was, like, our customer requirements were not very clear, or they were not sure exactly what they wanted. But when we went there, we showed them, what rules they might need and what typically their industry needs are. So then they came back and said, oh yeah, we need that too. Oh yeah, we have that requirement too. Maybe not coming out frequently, but we would like to configure that too. So we were able to use or reuse whatever we had done at other customer, for this customer, and we were able to configure and test the picking rules in less than 10 days, which I think was a significant achievement. And after going live, we hardly had any problems with the picking rules. Use of mobile is what I would say a must if you are trying to really improve your warehouse productivities. And with mobile, you should also use the guided tasks. So your warehouse users, you can guide them what to do next with your task assignments. And label printing, again, customer-specific label printing is it's a very nice feature in WMS. We have done a lot of work around that, and we have created some proprietary best practices and solutions for our customers to basically help them with printing their customer-specific labels and also document sets. In terms of shipping, you can use holds, releases, and a lot of mobile form personalization to control the overall shipping process, to make sure that all your customer-specific needs around shipping process are taken care of. A lot of times, you can store at some attributes at customer level, or maybe in order line level, and make use of those attributes in your, let's say, mobile forms or in your picking rules or other shipping processes. So you can use them as constraints. So we will see, I want to go over the Oracle WMS picking rules a little bit in detail, how it works and what you can do with it. So these picking rules are nothing but, these are part of the Oracle WMS rules engine. So in these rules engines, you have picking rules, you have pay rules, you have cost group assignment rules. So you have number of rules in a number of different rule types in there, out of which I have seen rules being one of the most valuable ones. These are configurable and extensible. So what I have seen, I have seen two ways people have configured this. One is people might just write a piece of code and plug it in the rules. And the other way is you can use the objects provided by Oracle to basically configure these rules. So I would always prefer the second way, because in that, you don't need to make any changes to your custom code, and also it's more user friendly. So once your users, they get a hang of how to configure those picking rules, you don't even need IT support to make changes in your picking rules. That's where one of my customer, I took them to. So earlier they had some custom code plugged in. So when I started supporting their WMS, I took them out from that custom code plugged in method to really configurable picking rules using all the business objects and their attributes. For example, you can use lot Oracle, lot numbers, and a lot of attributes around lot numbers, like expiration dates. You have different lot attributes. You have country of origin. So there are a lot of things available against a lot. Also, one of the objects could be, let's say, your on-hand inventory itself, with a lot of fields available for on-hand inventory, when was the receipt, and other dates, as well as maybe other parameters. Even order lines, you can use attributes from order lines to configure your picking rules. So in the picking rules, you have three three tabs: constraints, sorting, and consistency. So constraints are where I would typically put all my customer requirements to make sure that that becomes a constraint. Also, sometimes I might put some organizational constraints also, like sometimes I might want to just pick packed material first. So I might have a rule where I can just say that only pick packed material, don't pick loose material. Those kind of rules could be, those kind of constraints could be configured. Sorting is where you would a lot of times put your organizational strategy or configure your organizational strategy in terms of better inventory rotation or stock rotation. For example, one of the example could be you do a sorting on, let's say, your lot date code or your expiration date. So you sort expiration date. So you might have a constraint which says my expiration date should be at least 1 year from now, let's say, for this customer. Or that could even be more configurable, like your expiration date for that customer is stored in order line attribute value, and you are putting that order line attribute value and comparing it against your remaining shelf life, and you are saying my remaining shelf life has to be, let's say, if the order line value is 1 year, at least 1 year. So you can configure that in the constraint itself. So Oracle will filter out anything that doesn't that does not belong to the constraint or that does not satisfy the constraint, and after that it will do a sorting. So let's say if you have some lot which is 11th month or which has an expiration date which is, let's say, 13 months from now, and the other one has 15 months from now. So then the rules engine would basically help you select the one with 13 months from now expiration date. So that will help you basically rotate your inventory faster and reduce any potential obsolescence. Consistency is another thing that Oracle rules engine has provided, wherein you can have, you can put some consistencies like your manufacturer should be the same, or for the same order line, you want to make sure that all lots or all serials you are picking against that order line belong to a particular, let's say, batch number or lot number or country of origin or a manufacturer, something like that. Picking strategy. So these are picking rules, and you can define multiple picking rules. And what you can do is you can create a picking strategy wherein you can assign these picking rules or sequence these picking rules, so that you first do this. If this rule does not satisfy your requirement, then you use the second rule. If that doesn't work, then you use the third rule. So you can have your organizational strategy basically configured in the picking strategy itself. We have done that. And it helped us a lot at one customer. They were able to reduce their repackaging significantly because of this picking strategy that we had used. So what Oracle Smart Picking would mean for your businesses? So what other things you can do with it? So you can do simulations and what if analysis. So you can run some simulations on picking rules before even you pick the material based on your move orders. You have full audit capabilities and full traceability. It is transparent to warehouse users. So warehouse users, they don't have to know what picking rules are being used and where they are being guided. So that's all controlled by somebody who is defining the rules. Could be, let's say, your warehouse manager, or could be your planner who defines the rules. Used for multiple picking scenarios. You can use it for customer shipments, any internal material moves, WIP issues, WIP component issues. So you can use these picking rules for multiple scenarios. And these are basically not just picking rules. You also have put away rules, task assignment rules, you have label printing rules, you have cost group assignment rules. So there are multiple rules also available. And these, rules engine is what I call the heart of WMS, with immense potential to improve your business. Oracle has also provided a lot of seeded picking rules that you can use, although I have seen not many companies using just the seeded picking rules. And then there are multiple bases that Oracle has provided to select the right rule or the right strategy for your material selection or material allocation. Moving on to labeling. So that takes care of the picking process itself. Moving on to labeling, what Oracle has provided is business object-based label printing rules. So you can basically go by, let's say, customer and transaction type. Like, let's say for picking, you can have a different kind of label. For stock put away, you can have a different kind of label. So you can decide what kind of label you want. Have multiple formats and assign these formats to different transaction types or business objects. You can also have different printers. You can use different printers to print labels based on multiple business objects like transactions, location, user. Basically, let's say if a user, if you have users carrying printers with them, like mobile printers with them, which I have seen in one of our customer sites. So they have this barcode scanner or a mobile device to play transactions, and there is another small label printer attached to their holster, which will print out the label, and they just take out the label and stick it then and there. DFI, data field identifiers, I think we discussed that already for out of order scanning. And optionally use mobile label printer to improve productivity. So these are all the things you can do to basically improve productivity as well as reduce any rework or manual processes in your warehouse. What are the considerations? Okay, you have to select the right label printing software for your environment. Commonly used that I have seen, so Zebra printers are very commonly used. They have some kind of basic software, but then Loftware is something I've seen. The high-end ones with very high printing volumes, they use Loftware servers. Connectivity for label printer, especially if you are using contract manufacturer. So that's very critical. I mean, we have faced a lot of issues around this connectivity for label printer as well as for your mobile devices. So in the warehouse, you have to make sure that your mobile devices, they're getting the right connectivity, they have the right Wi-Fi available. In terms of Jade differentiators, I mean, how we help better. So we have subject matter experts, VCE and VCP, both areas. So a lot of times our customers, they come back and say, okay, we are not doing good. I mean, we want to improve our processes. We don't know what to do, and they just tell some symptoms of where they are, where their processes might be failing, might not be giving them the right benefits. And then what we can do is we can help you identify whether it's, let's say, a planning problem or execution problem. So we can help our customers with basically classifying the problem itself. Also, what we provide is solution for the business challenges. We don't try to just, let's say, implement an Oracle product, but we try to first go with the business itself, find the solution for the business rather than just to implement some technical functionality of a product. We have Oracle certified pre-configured WMS solutions, configuration changes required in EBS. So what it includes is basically any configuration changes that are required, that are must-have. We have included those in our pre-configured solution. We have also included data conversion requirements, what data conversion you would need. For example, let's say if you are not using locators today, and if you want to implement WMS, then you have to start using locators. And for that, you have to take all your inventory out to make some changes in your org level or sub-inventory level locator configurations, and then bring the inventory back. So those kind of data conversion scripts we have, which will help reduce the risk and also plan the implementation better. We have a lot of expertise in cost group changes, the impact of cost group changes after implementing WMS. We have helped multiple companies with that too. And we make it, so cost group changes, I mean, the way I look at it is, I mean, you can get benefit of that rather than getting impacted adversely. And that's where we want to take you. Industry-specific pre-configured picking rules, that's what I say one of the key part of the solution. And rapid mobile device configuration. So we have experts who have worked on mobile device configurations extensively, who can help you rapidly deploy mobile devices in your environment to get you the desired productivity benefits. We have repeatable implementation methodology, and of course we have 100% success rate so far.
A little bit about our company before you leave. Jade Global is headquartered at San Jose, California, with offices in New Jersey and India. If you have any questions or you want to know more about our solutions and services, then please call us on the numbers displaying on your screen. We'll just be there. Yeah. So you can call on these numbers, or you can also email us. Yeah, there was some problem. You can also email us at marketing@jadeglobal.com. We'll help you out with any query you have. And thank you once again very much for attending the webinar, and we will talk to you soon. Have a great day. Thank you.